I don't know who this message is for, but I do know this. If you press play, then there's a reason. And maybe this is the message you didn't even know you needed today. Because the truth is, at some point, we have to get real with ourselves. Not surface real, not pretending real, not the version of real where you say we want to change, but we keep doing the same things, entertaining the same people, carrying the same pain, staying in the same patterns, and wondering why our life still feels heavy. I'm talking about the kind of real where you sit with yourself and say, God, what are you really trying to show me? Because I know for a fact that God did not take me through everything I've been through just for me to stay stuck. He did not allow me to go through those storms, that heartbreak, the confusion, survival seasons, betrayal, disappointments, rebuilding, healing, and still bring me out on the other side, not looking like what I've been through, not smelling like what I've been through, just to keep asking God, what is my purpose? At some point, I had to realize that what I survived was not random. What I healed from was not random. What I had to let go of was not random. The way God kept me covered, corrected me, He redirected me, and still gave me another chance was not random. It was part of His plan. And maybe everything you have been through was not meant to destroy you either. Maybe it was meant to wake you up. Maybe it was meant to prepare you. Maybe it was meant to position you. Maybe God allowed you to walk through some things so one day you could turn around and help somebody else walk out. And that is why your relationship with God matters. Because when you do not have that relationship, yes, you can still move through life. Yes, you can still accomplish things and still figure some things out. But it's harder because you don't recognize the whispers. You miss the signs. You ignore the redirection. You keep calling it confusion when God is trying to give you clarity. You keep calling it a setback when God is trying to protect you. You keep calling it rejection when God is trying to separate you from what cannot go with where God is trying to take you. And when you do not get quiet, when you do not sit still, when you do not pray, when you do not listen, you don't create the space for God to speak to you. Everything starts to feel cloudy. You are moving, but you're not aligned. You might feel busy, but you're not fulfilled. You're even tired, but you cannot sit still. You're scrolling, you're consuming, you're watching everybody else build, everybody else win, everybody else show up. But deep down, you know that God has been calling you too. And the hard truth is this: a lot of us keep asking God for the promised land, but we do not want the discipline that is required to go into it. And I know discipline is a touchy word because some of us have lived so long doing what we wanted, when we wanted, how we wanted, with whoever we wanted. That discipline feels like punishment, but discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protection. Discipline is preparation. Discipline is how God shows you who He is. Discipline is how you show God and yourself that you are ready for the next version of your life. Because you cannot keep saying that you want peace, but you keep entertaining chaos. You can't keep saying that you want purpose, but you're ignoring what God keeps putting on your heart. You cannot keep saying that you want financial freedom, but you're wasting hours scrolling, comparing, procrastinating, distracting yourself from the very thing that you say you wanted. You cannot keep saying you want a new life while you're still being loyal to the habits of the old one. And I say this with love because I had to say this to myself. Girl, you have been carrying way too much. You have been carrying pain that was supposed to teach you, not live with you forever. You've been carrying that disappointment. You've been carrying people's opinions, carrying betrayal, carrying heartbreak, carrying shame. You've been carrying things people said about you that weren't even true. You have been carrying stories that nobody else heard your side. You have been carrying expectations for people who were never capable of showing you the way you needed them to. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, how much longer am I going to carry what God is asking me to release? Because letting go is not easy, and I'm not here to act like it is. Letting go hurts. Letting go of the people you love hurts. Letting go of the version of your life you thought you were going to have hurts. Letting go of the apology you never got hurts. Letting go of control hurts. Letting go of the need to explain yourself hurts. And letting go of the old version of you can hurt too, because sometimes the broken versions of us still feels familiar. But familiar does not always mean healthy. Familiar does not always mean God. Familiar does not always mean stay. Sometimes familiar is just the place you've learned how to survive. But now God is not calling you to keep surviving. He's calling you to become. He's calling you to rise. He's calling you to get clear. He's calling you to release. He's calling you to heal. He's calling you to get disciplined. He is calling you to protect your peace. He is calling you to stop moving like the old version of you. He is trying to birth something new through you. And this is where we have to stop making it so complicated. Sometimes the next step is not this big dramatic thing. Sometimes the next step is waking up 1 hour earlier so you can pray, journal, breathe, or just hear yourself think. Sometimes the next step is turning the phone off at night. Sometimes the next step is just not answering that call. Sometimes the next step is not going back to that place. Sometimes the next step is just taking a walk. It could be going to the gym 1 day a week. Sometimes the next step is fasting. Sometimes the next step could be you writing down what you actually want. Sometimes the next step is saying, I cannot keep living like this. Sometimes the next step is choosing peace over proving a point. And no, it may not feel easy at first, especially if you're used to being in survival mode, especially if you're a night person like me and you are up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking, planning, working, trying to figure everything out. But at some point, you have to tell yourself, everything is getting turned off. I need rest. I need clarity. I need discipline. I need to show myself that I can trust me again, because that is part of it too. A lot of us don't trust ourselves because we have broken promises to ourselves so many times. We said we were going to start, but we stopped. We said we were going to let go. We went back. We said we were going to get serious. We got distracted. We said we were going to build, but what do? We keep scrolling. And then we wonder why we feel disconnected from the versions of us that we keep seeing in our spirit. But baby, that version of you is still there. She is not gone. She is waiting on your obedience. She is waiting on your discipline. She is waiting on your yes. She is waiting on you to stop choosing what is comfortable over what is calling you. God gives us 24 hours in a day. And no, we cannot control everything. We cannot control tomorrow because tomorrow isn't even promised. But we can ask ourselves, what am I doing today? What am I doing with my mind today? What am I doing with my heart today? What am I doing with my body? What am I doing with my time today? What am I doing with my gifts today? What am I doing with what God called me to do? Also, a lot of people want financial freedom, but they're not free emotionally. They want abundance, but they're not at peace. They want more money, but they are still carrying that bitterness. They want purpose, but they're still moving in distractions, right? They want the new life, but they haven't made room for it. And this is why abundance is not just money. I believe in financial freedom. Yes, I believe in learning new skills. I believe in building online. I believe in your gifts that creates income. I believe that your gifts can make room for you. But abundance is also peace. Abundance is joy. Abundance is clarity. Abundance is waking up and not feeling heavy. Abundance is being able to hear God. Abundance is knowing who you are. Abundance is being able to walk away from what no longer serves you. Abundance is not needing to prove to people who God called you to be. Abundance is freedom in your spirit first. Truth is, what point of having a bag than money if your soul is not at peace? What is the point of looking successful if you're broken inside, right? What is the point of everybody clapping for you if you still do not have peace? That is why this season is going to require a different kind of discipline. Not just discipline to work, but discipline to heal, discipline to rest, discipline to pray, discipline to forgive, discipline to release, discipline to stop explaining, discipline to stop going back, discipline to stop shrinking, discipline to stop scrolling your life away. Discipline to become the woman God is calling you to become. And I believe God had to show me something recently. He had to remind me, do what makes you happy. Share what you have been through. Tell your truth. Remind somebody else that they are more powerful than they believe they are. Because every storm, every trial, every tribulation, every closed door, every season where you felt like you were being stretched beyond what you could handle, it was not for nothing. God was building something in you. God was showing you who you are. God was teaching you how to protect your energy. God was teaching you what not to settle for. God was teaching you how to recognize what is familiar from what isn't healthy. God was teaching you how to pause before you react. God was teaching you how to reset when you felt triggered. God was teaching you how to pull back, reevaluate, analyze, and choose differently. And that is growth. That is healing. That is maturity. That is alignment. And when you begin to move like that, God starts walking you right into your purpose. And you may not have every detail. You may not know the whole plan. You may not know exactly how everything is going to work, but God does. And He sends the signs. He will send the confirmations. He will send redirections. He will send the people. He will send the ideas, the opportunities. He will even send you peace. But you have to be awake enough to see it, sis. You have to be still enough to hear it, bro. You have to be disciplined enough to obey it. Because if you do not wake up, if you do not become more aware, if you do not release what no longer serves you, life will keep feeling familiar. Same patterns, same energy, same type of people, same chaos, same confusion, same version of you trying to pray for something new while still holding on to what God is asking you to let go of. And I say this with love. Some things cannot go where God is taking you. Some people cannot go. Some habits cannot go. Some mindsets cannot go. Some belief systems cannot go. Some patterns cannot go. Some versions of you cannot go. And that does not mean you are better than anybody. It means you are being called higher. It means God is requiring more from you in this season. It means your peace matters, your purpose matters, your obedience matters, your time matters, your gifts matters, your healing matters. So ask yourself honestly, what am I choosing? Am I choosing distraction over discipline? Am I choosing healing over hate? Am I choosing peace over chaos? Am I choosing building over complaining? Am I choosing purpose over procrastination? Am I choosing staying stuck at a job, in a mindset, in a lifestyle, in a pattern that I know that no longer fits me? Or am I choosing to learn? Am I choosing to grow? Am I choosing to create? Am I choosing to use my gifts? Am I choosing to build the life God keeps showing me? Because your gifts were not given to you for nothing. Your voice was not given to you for nothing. Your story was not given to you for nothing. Your wisdom was not given to you for nothing. Your survival was not for nothing. God did not bring you through all of that for you to sit on who you are. So if this message found you today, take this as a reminder to release what is heavy. Let go of what no longer serves you. Forgive even if they didn't apologize. Protect your peace. Get disciplined. Get quiet. Listen to God. Start with small steps. Do what you can with today. And stop believing that you are too late, too broken, too old, too far behind, or even too far for God to come through. You are not. You are right on time for the version of you that is finally ready to rise. I always like to close with, always listen to your intuition because it's always guiding you to be at the right place, at the right time, doing the right things, around the right people. And most importantly, protect your peace because your peace is everything. And if any of this video resonated with you, comment down below what did. Like the video and don't forget to subscribe because we're not just talking about becoming financially free. We're becoming the best versions of ourselves while we're getting there. So until the next video, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.